Good evening, everyone. It's been a weird week. Had off, what was that, Thursday, Friday? And now it's Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. So, yeah, I have a 4-day weekend somehow. It's been weird. What's up, everybody? Hopefully, y'all can hear me pretty good. I'm working with the same microphone, but I have a different camera that I'm working. Hopefully, it's a little bit better than the old one. I still need to fine tune a few things, but yeah, we're working with a little bit of new hardware here. Let me make myself a little bit bigger, like so you guys could actually see me. There we go. How's it going, everybody? We are here. We made it to trail stop number 4 finally. It's been a long time coming. We hate pushing events. If you guys have rolled with us for a while, y'all know it's not something I try to do. It's not something I try to make a habit of. But obviously, as with all of our events, as with everything that we do here at NVKBA, safety is first and foremost. So if we have to move an event because of safety reasons, I'm not afraid to do it. That being said, obviously we are looking at a little bit of weather. I know some of these places did get hit this week with a little bit more weather, not quite as much as last week. But yeah, I'm hoping that from everything we're seeing, from everybody that I've been talking to, huge shout out to you guys know who you are that have been talking with me over the last few days, and of course last couple weeks. The first time we had to go through this, but folks like Updike, Chris, Chun, Vic, all you guys. I know I'm missing a few folks, but I definitely appreciate y'all's help. Obviously, I don't live near the river. It's going to be a little bit of a drive for me tomorrow, for me and Riley, but I appreciate everybody who tuned in and helped me keep an eye on these waters throughout the last couple of weeks. So, like I said, we did see a little bit of rain this week. I think we might see a little bit more depending on where you live, depending on where you're at around the river, depending on where you're launching from. Just be mindful of that. Like I said, right now things are projected to look decent. They may not be perfect in some areas, so use your head, use common sense out there on the water. And we'll get into some of that here as we move into the safety. But I just wanted to kind of forefront with that obviously we're going to go tomorrow morning, unless something crazy happens between now and tomorrow morning. We're gonna send it. So open with that. I know Joel's busy tonight, so he wasn't able to make it on, but I'll keep this kind of quick. Get you guys back to your evening. Wasn't able to come on last night. Like I said, I was off Thursday, Friday. We went out of town for a couple days and then came back today. So it would have been difficult for me to run this last night. But hey, it's still it's Friday. Pre-fishing already had ended, so nothing to worry about. It's hopefully everybody's relaxing, staying cool and staying dry tonight. All right, let me go ahead and pull up our slides for this evening. And hopefully I'll be able to read, because I know there was a few folks that had some questions about boundaries and launches, things like that. I try to make that stuff as clear as possible, but I'll see if I can pull up some maps here as well and maybe go over that a little bit tonight. All right, let's see, slides and PDFs. PS2, that's an old one. All right, let me upload the new slide deck here for tonight. All right, here we go. June 28th. This is the rain date for the event that was supposed to take place last weekend, trail stop number 4. Like I said, we all know these events are a little bit up in the air when we create them, but we baked in some rain dates this year, and I think that worked out really well this time. That's something that we'll continue to do, years to come from now. But it's always important to be able to have something, kind of a plan B already in place prior to this, event kicking off. So shout out to the guys who helped me run this, Joel, Vic, Mike, Andy, all you guys, baking that in and just, having it ready to go before the season even started was a huge plus, and obviously something we're going to keep on doing. So shout out and hats off to you guys. All right. This is the captain's meeting for trail stop number 4, Smalley Showdown on the Shenandoah River. All right, we'll talk about registration. Obviously, we're a day later than we normally do captain's meeting, so registration is going to end tonight. Talk about the rules, the pre-fishing, which is over now. like I mentioned a little bit ago. Some safety, so river safety tips, and then the game day timeline. All right, everyone knows by now. Usually, if you fish with us, if this is your first event with us, I think I did talk to a couple of folks that might be their first tournament with us, and help them walk them through the fishing chaos registration, things like that. But for the most part, everybody knows what you're doing here. I think registration went up the last time I checked. It was in the maybe low 30s earlier. We just hit 40, so and that's already given 2 refunds, which was pretty cool, man. Like I said, I know it sucks having to move dates and things like that, but to only have 2 registrations drop, I know a lot of folks had hesitated signing up the first time, but to just do 2 refunds was a big plus. So we're sitting at 40, and we're 40 true right now. Whatever happens, unless somebody else requests a refund here this evening, there won't be any more refunds after midnight tonight. Number one, because I'm not going to be awake to do it, and before the tournament starts in the morning is too late. So if you need a refund, if you know you're not going to be able to fish tomorrow, hit me up ASAP. Don't wait till 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight, because you'd be hard pressed to get a hold of me. Let's see. All right. So, obviously, cutoff time is going to be at midnight tonight for registration. All right. Let's talk about some rules. Had a few folks ask about KBF rules and how we kind of differ from that. So just please go into, if you don't have them already, go into www.nvkba.com and look at the rules there. They're the latest and greatest. You'll see they're very, very similar to the KBF rules, but there's a couple little differences in there when it comes to wade fishing, different time frames for pre-fishing and stuff like that. But by and large, they're the exact same rules. So just make sure you go in and read those if you haven't already. And it's just the middle of the season, guys. So it never hurts to refresh on that stuff and give it a good read. Even for you vets out there who've been doing this, know this stuff like the back of your hand. It's still, even myself, it's good to go back, because I still forget some things every now and then, especially when it comes to penalties on scoring fish. I always have those rules pulled up beside me when I'm scoring fish. So just something to keep good practice of. This is your sport. This is your hobby. Take it seriously, and share it with other folks, and keep each other accountable with it. All right. And like I said, as usual, just go ahead and ask questions throughout this, and I'll get to them at the end. Will, man, I think you probably cut your beard more times than I have, so don't short yourself. I think you definitely have the beard face, my brother. See, I tell people I got a face made for a beard. All right, pre-fishing. Like I said, pre-fishing was cut off today at 4 p.m. Had a couple other folks ask me today. Doesn't necessarily have to do with pre-fishing, but some folks that are running temporary tags for your kayaks, like you paid for registration because you have a motor, but you don't have the stickers yet, kind of thing. All that's fine and dandy. Just make sure you have your credentials and everything's in order on your end. I am not DWR. I don't go around checking people for that kind of stuff. That's angler responsibility. So just make sure you have what you need. Like I said, it is what it is. You just got to make sure that you're good to go on your end. Make sure you have all the right things you need. Obviously, you got to have an up-to-date fishing license. Some of you folks that have the auto renewals and things like that, that's always good. But if you manually buy your license every year without any auto renewals, just go ahead and give that a check. Like I said, we're mid-season right now. I'd hate for somebody to get kicked off the water because they got stopped by DWR and they had an out-of-date license or something like that. So just like I said, keep on reminding yourself. It's always good practice. Like I tell Riley all the time, he just started driving, a little over a year ago. And he's comfortable driving. He's very good at driving, but it's always one of those things to, just stop. If you've been doing something for a little while, 6 months to a year, stop and just kind of think back, and focus on what you were taught to do. Focus on like we said in the military, focus on your training, kind of stuff like that, and just kind of reevaluate where you're at within your craft, within your skill. And because when you're not thinking about something, that's when stuff goes wrong. So just always be vigilant, always be, prepared, I guess, for lack of better words. Um, like I said, with Riley, with driving, make sure you're, always thinking about things, because anything could happen in a split second. God forbid it's nothing crazy or bad, but always continue to be vigilant and remind yourself of things. So anyway, I'll get off that soapbox. Moving on, safety. Like I just said, be vigilant out there. Help one another if you're in need. If you see somebody struggling, especially when it comes to anchors. I know it's going to be a lot of anchoring down tomorrow in these rivers. It's a great way to fish if you're doing a float. A lot of they're going to have a lot of lines out, a lot of anchors, just things, extra things that you need to maintain accountability of. You need to maintain situational awareness of. Carry a good river knife, and if it's too late now, any knife will be good. But I always like the river, the stubby knives, or the blunt knives. Those are great, especially if you need to use them in the water or cutting anchor lines, stuff like that. If you get hung up, but like I said, just keep your heads on a swivel. Make sure that you're helping one another out. If you see somebody struggling, stop what you're doing, go help them. PFDs at all times, guys and gals. We say it all the time. We sound like broken records, but this is no joke, especially when we're in moving waters. It's no joke in any water that we fish. It's mandatory in our tournaments, but gosh, if I could foot stomp this one, I'll do it every single time. Make sure you're wearing that PFD at all times. If you need to stop, take a break, pull off to the side of the river. Don't be anchoring down and then taking off your PFD or anything like that, even if you're not fishing. Just pull off to the side of the river and hang out on the bank for a little bit if you need a break. Don't want to see any types of any accidents due to negligence, right? Obviously, we're not perfect, and things happen. Acts of God, things like that. But if it's something that could have been prevented, that's what we want to try to avoid at all costs. So, visibility, flags are great. Lighting in the early hours. We're only going to allow half an hour of a launch. So earliest launch tomorrow will be at 5:30. So probably be getting light out around that time. So just make sure you have your lights and things that you need when you're out there, and we shouldn't have any issues. Check in and check out. Actually, I'll hit weather considerations, but like I said before, we're continuing to monitor the weather. We may have a little bit of rain tomorrow, depending on where you're at along the river. We got a really big stretch that we're running, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But yeah, just make sure that you keep an eye on the weather. We're going to keep an eye on it. If anything crazy happens, like we're seeing thunderstorms and stuff like that throughout the day, then if we have to call the event midday, we will. We'll make sure everybody knows, and everybody needs to get off the water. So, but again, it's your responsibility to maintain situational awareness and everything that you're doing out there. Like I said, wear your PFD, bring all your little goodies like your bug sprays, your sunscreen, stuff like that. It should make for a really fun day out there. I think the water levels have definitely tamed down, so that's why we're going to give this one a go. If you see lightning for whatever reason, get off the water too. Find a little spot to hit the bank and pull your kayak up and put your rods down. I know most of you guys run rods down anyway in the river, but for those of you that like to stick them out the back and up on your black packs and stuff, get all that stuff down if you see lightning, and just get off the water. I know a lot of this goes without saying, guys, but I feel a little more comfortable when we talk about it. So. And if anyone has additional advice, please chime in the chat. Post it up in the group. That's what the group's there for. If you see something, say something. We want everybody to come home and fish another day. Check in and check out. That should be operational. I think we had a pretty good. I think we had pretty good use of that the last tournament. I haven't heard of any major issues. There was a few updates in Fishing Chaos. Speaking of updates, make sure your app is updated. But like I said, there's been a few updates over the last few times of check in and check out procedures, and everything should be set up for this event to run pretty smoothly. So there will be cell signal problems as well. So keep that in mind when you're doing your floats, when you're uploading your fish. If you're waiting until the end of the day to upload fish, that might not be the best idea tomorrow. If you see service on your phone, upload them. Just do that as you catch the fish. It makes my life a hell of a lot easier when I'm trying to score fish. But in order to, this is a two-way street, right? So in order to make your lives a little bit easier, we're going to be extending submission times to 1 hour after the tournament. So that tournament ends at 2:00, and your final submissions will be at 3:00. So you have 1 hour to get off the water, get your submissions in. But that, like I said before, that does not mean sandbag. Please do me a huge favor. Just don't be sandbagging and throwing all your fish up at the end of the day, because number one, you run the risk of, not having time to correct something. If something, if I identify a problem that gets a DQ or a penalty, and you say you have a better photo that you can go back and go, if you're uploading all these fish at 3:30, 2:30, 2:45, pushing that 3:00 time frame, I can't promise to get, everything adjusted accordingly in the right way because you waited till the last minute. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, the hour is there to use, especially if you're running, a crap signal, but use it, don't abuse it. That's all I ask. And then make sure you check out, obviously, when you're off the water. We will be meeting up at Jake's Bait and Tackle tomorrow. Jared, I talked with him last weekend when we had to postpone the tournament. I went up to the flea market and hung out there on Saturday because we were camping up that weekend anyway. Awesome time, by the way. If you missed out on the flea market, definitely make sure you get your butt up there next year for it. Super good time. A lot of awesome vendors. Bent Rod was there. I got a few new baits from him as well. He's making some really awesome stuff. So got to see Chun there. Got to see a few folks coming from the club. So, but anyway, like I said, Jared is going to be hosting us again at Jake's Bait and Tackle. We were planning to last week, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. We will be having refreshments. Jake's going to provide refreshments like drinks. And then I'm going to be ordering a whole bunch of pizzas for whoever comes. So we'll have pizzas and cold drinks for you guys after the event. So if you can make it up to Jake's, please do. If you can't, we understand. I know it's pretty far north and maybe out of the way for a lot of folks, but we really hope you do come up there and hang out with us after the event around 3:30. All right. What else? I already hit some of this already, but launch etiquette as usual. Just make sure you're getting on and off the ramps as quick as possible. You're not hogging up the ramp and whatnot. Use your carts, use your wheels, use your trailers efficiently. Check-in, like I said, is going to be check-in's going to be 5:30 because that's going to be earliest launch, and then the checkout later on. We'll leave that open probably to about 3:30. Lines wet 6 a.m. Lines in at 2 p.m. Species. If the title didn't make it clear enough, this is a smallmouth bass only tournament. So 12-inch minimum, smallmouth bass only. The bronze ones, the ones we don't catch a whole lot in any other waters other than the Shenandoah and the Upper Potomac. So, of course, the Rappahannock. But that's what makes this event special. It's a different type of fish. It's a different type of fishing, so it takes a little bit of different type of skill. And I think at the end of the day, I think everybody enjoys this format, and it gives those folks who really enjoy smallmouth fishing the time to shine, but it also gets those folks who maybe aren't as comfortable smallmouth fishing to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and try a new skill and learn a new skill and ultimately make you a better angler. So, that's pretty much all I got here, guys. We already talked about awards. Let me go through, let's see. Looking at a couple. Will, you're definitely right, man. Check in and check out is very important for this event. It's always important, but for this event, man, it's definitely something. Oh, DWR will be out tomorrow, John. I appreciate you giving us the heads up. So, make sure you got your stuff handled and good to go with your licenses, your registrations if you're running motors and things like that, guys. Let's see. I know I'm a little scatterbrained right now, making sure I cover everything. Let's go ahead and see where we're sitting right now. We're sitting at 40 anglers still. So the payout for 40 anglers, let's check that. It's going to be 400 for a big bass. It's a nice little payout. I imagine we'll hit a few more, get a few more tonight. Maybe we get lucky and hit 50. Let's see. There we go. All right, so payout table for 40 anglers tomorrow will be $775 for first place, $365 for second. Third place will have $213, and fourth $106, and fifth place 61. Get your money back and a little bit more. So, yeah, good stuff. We got a nice event that brewed up here. All right. I went through that pretty quick. Like I said, I'm real glad that we were able to get here. Fingers crossed that everything, between now and tomorrow runs smoothly, and then obviously things tomorrow run smoothly for us. Yeah, well, that's the quote I was thinking of when I was saying, I got a face made for a beard. I definitely have a face made for radio too. But you guys are all lucky to catch me on here. So I don't know. Maybe one day I thought about tinkering around with the NVKBA YouTube channel and maybe doing some sponsor reviews and stuff like that. But I'll probably need Riley to help me out because I'm a millennial, but I'm not the most tech guy that I probably should be. Let's see. Go through here, look at some more questions. Yeah, Nate, great point. It is still going to be pretty hot tomorrow. Yeah, wet your board before putting the fish on it. That does make a big difference in my experience. John, 37th place. We might be able to afford like maybe a bag of plastics or something. Or maybe we'll get the first place guy to tell you what he called him on. But yeah, that's like I said, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be if you're not already drinking water, drink water tonight, and bring water with you tomorrow. I know you're gonna be surrounded by it, but unless you got a life straw, I would not recommend drinking out of that water. I've heard there was, I guess I don't know if it was like a E. coli breakout or something. Somebody was talking about, I know this is kind of a common thing with the Shenandoah River, but there's a lot of farmland around, right? So there's a lot of runoff from these farms. So it's not something I'd be walking around or wading in. I'm pretty sure there are advisories for that as well. So just make sure, even though you can wade fish, I would tread lightly with it. Try to stay in your kayak as much as you can, and definitely don't drink it. Bring some fresh spring water with you. Yeah, Lee Wells says to freeze bottles of Gatorade. That's definitely a good. Keep up on your electrolytes. Oh yeah, Bass and Furious. I'm glad you brought that up, man. Let's talk boundaries really quick. So, move that. Let me see if I can pull up the map really quick. I'll try to present this tab, and then we'll talk about it. Let's see. Share screen. Google Maps. All right, sweet. So, can everybody see that? All right. I think we're good. So I was looking here. I need to update the south of the I think it's the North Fork boundary, but it's not going to make a huge deal for tomorrow. But I think moving forward, I'm definitely going to update that. So looking at the South Fork, that's north. Come on down here to the south. Where we at? Port Republic. If you type in Port Republic, BA, don't type in New Jersey because you'll be way out of bounds. Port Republic, Virginia. So this is like the southernmost boundary, right on the South Fork. I just moved it off a satellite so you can see the river a little bit easier. But if you see here, I'm not sure. Hopefully, can you guys see my mouse pointer at all? If you can't, let me know really quick if you can see my mouse pointer. I'm not sure if you can. Anyway, if you look in here, I'll zoom in. So these two bridges at Port Republic, way down south, that's where your cutoffs are. So don't go past the North River Bridge and don't go past this 253 bridge right here. That's as far south as the boundary goes for the South Fork. So you pretty much have that. And there's quite a few boat ramps. There's a Port Republic boat launch you can launch at. If you just type in boat ramp, you're going to see a bunch of them pop up. But yeah, you can pretty much follow this all the way north. It's a pretty big stretch. You're going to go through Luray, Front Royal. Up here you got Riverton. So this is where the North Fork and the South Fork meet. You can fish right through Riverton. Find you a good float. I don't know how the rapids are over there. I know there's definitely some. I can tell you right now, Riverton is one of those places. Like if you don't want to do a float, it's probably one of the better places to launch because But just be aware that there are like bass boats and stuff that go through here. Right here, you can see one, a John boat or something. But it's definitely big enough to run bass boats through. It's a pretty good spot. But that's where the North and the South Fork meet. So if I follow the North Fork, I'll show you the North Fork boundary real quick. You got Strasburg, and the North Fork boundary is going to be right here around Edinburgh. So right now, within the rules, it says the Edinburgh Bridge is the 675 bridge right here. This is what I was talking about. This is what I think we're going to need to update, because while this bridge, let me see, is this the 675 here too? Might be the same bridge. No, it's a different bridge. So yeah, this is technically your cutoff line right here. So anything south of this bridge on the North Fork, like this little Stony Creek, that's not eligible. And then all the way down through here, that's not eligible water. So 675 and north. Now this is where I saw the kind of the weird thing. Like when I zoomed in on satellite, you got a pretty good sized dam right here. I don't see anybody floating over that. I don't think it's possible. I don't see anywhere around it. So one of those things, like in actuality, yeah, you could fish technically this strip right here from the 675 all the way to this dam. So like if you do that, like I'm not going to flag anymore, but moving forward, I think we're going to bring this somewhere else, maybe up here by like Chapman's or something, because there's another bridge right here, this little footbridge for the future. But I know there's some good fish in here. I don't want to cut it off for tomorrow, but I think moving forward, we're going to reevaluate the North Fork. Hell, maybe we'll bring it further south. Who knows? But I'll talk with my river experts on that and see what will be the best route to go. So, all right, that's your North Fork. That's like that Edinburgh Gap Road. That's your cutoff for the North Fork, and that's going to take you all the way. Again, maybe some of this may or may not be navigable, depending on the rapids, depending on the water levels and things like that. But just know that this is all in play all the way through Strasburg and then all the way back down here through Riverton. So that's your North Fork. We talked the southernmost boundary for the South Fork. I'm going to bring it back to take it off satellite so you can see the river a little bit better. We're going to go all the way north here. So you're cutting into West Virginia. So West Virginia, you can definitely launch up this way all the way through Harper's Ferry. And the Harper's Ferry cutoff is this bridge right here on the 340. Let me just double check to make sure that that's what it says. Yeah. So it's not the 340 bridge. It's the Harper's Ferry B&O Railroad Bridge. Let me double check that really quick. So right here. Shoot, where was it? Did I lose it? Somebody show me where the B&O Railroad. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, right there. So that's your. This is like your cutoff right here. If I have to call one, so technically you could fish a little bit of the Upper Potomac. It's the 340 bridge right there. Is like your no crap cutoff, and then obviously right here, this B&O Railroad Bridge. That's your north cutoff for boundaries. So, like I said, I think we can definitely do some fine tuning on this down the road, but for right now, that's a hell of a stretch of water. And if you can't find somewhere to fish in there, then you don't belong in a kayak. Let me go back here, read through, see if we got any questions. I'll stop sharing this. Hopefully that's clear. Like I said, if you still have further questions on the rules, on the boundaries, hit me up. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Obviously, throughout all these areas, make sure you're using a public boat ramp. Don't be launching at somebody's house that lives along the river. It's got to be a public boat ramp or launch or whatever, slip or whatever you want to call it, but it has to be public, whether you pay or not. It's got to be accessible to everybody. Biggest pair for KBF will be in play. I still need to go through, man, for the last tournament, the leaderboard was messed up on that. So I'm going to go back in and see if I can fix it for this tournament as well. But I know the last person who won was John Molnar. So we need to still get him squared away. We've been just, it's some coordination, some better coordination between myself and KBF needs to happen for that. So I do apologize, but we are still going to track biggest pair. So definitely and this will be pretty sweet to see on the river, the biggest smallmouth pair. So now, thanks for the reminder. I'm going to try to get that leaderboard up if I didn't already. Let me double check to see if I have that leaderboard made. Yeah, so the biggest pair leaderboard is up. So definitely, and it shouldn't be any issue to upload those. I think the last event, it was either the last one or the first one. We didn't have the leaderboard made, so like some of the fish didn't make it on there for some reason. I think because I don't know, there's an upload issue between trying to upload to a leaderboard that was made after the fact. So anyway, like I said, biggest pair will be in play. So definitely we'll follow up on that. We owe you guys the leader from the last tournament. I just need to do that math. So I'll get with Joel and figure all that stuff out. But yeah, yes, I did release the ID code early. Thank you very much for seeing that. That's another thing I wanted to avoid tomorrow morning was problems with cell service and getting ID code. So the ID code was just released at 8 o'clock tonight. So there you go. Congratulations. Any other questions? I think it's going to be a good tournament. I have, high hopes for this one. I think it's going to be, I think we're going to be good. I don't want to say too much, but I think it's going to be a great time. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Anything else? Did I miss anything? Oh, we're up to 41 now. So 41 anglers. I just said the ID code is out. So go ahead and get that squared away tonight. Get your ID card squared away. Drink water. Get some good sleep. Oh, Chris Johnson, hey, if you're watching, man, I appreciate all your help this week. I just want to give a quick report. He said earlier the South Fork is clean at Newport. Port Republic has a slight rise in the gauge. Middle River is chocolate milk, so we are going to see some crap water. And I mean, hopefully some of it goes away overnight, but you never know. Get those dark colored baits out. North River is clean. Port Republic will probably get stained, and yeah, there's still some strong storms that are forecasted to hit or miss. So, like I said, we'll continue to keep an eye on it, but right now we're setting it. Let me see. I think that's about it. Let's see if there's any more questions popping up. Yeah, no worries, brother. I know if you make it to a 4, that's fine. I probably, at the end of the day, we shoot for 3:30, but it's usually, give or take half an hour, 15, 30 minutes. But yeah, definitely come out to the awards. Like I said, if you're coming in a little late, we're going to have pizza and drinks at Jake's. So it should be a nice end to the day, and then we'll get everybody out and on their way. But everyone knows that the awards are definitely something special that I hold near and dear. There's a lot of online tournaments nowadays, and we do a few here at NVKBA as well. But at the end of the day, there's just something about being able to meet up with each other and shake the hand of the winner of the tournament, congratulate them, and enjoy that camaraderie that it's something we hold near and dear. I know kayak anglers we're a different breed than most fishermen. We're a pretty close knit group, and we like to show that. And what better place to do it than a place like Jake's? A great sponsor of ours. You get to support them. They have so many things in that tackle shop that you'd be hard pressed to find anywhere else in a walk-in store. So, huge shout out to them for always being there for us. Just a great group of friends that we call family. So, yeah. Guys and gals, that's unless there's any other major questions or things that I missed, feel free to hit me up for a little bit tonight. I'll be up for a little while. Got to help Riley and get ready. Got to get a few things ready for myself. But yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow evening. Good luck out there. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. And yeah, I'll say it again. Good luck. I think it's going to be a great event. So, all right, I am out here. Everybody have a great evening.